Welcome, nerds, to the comic books and book news for the week. This is where we talk about all things comic books and literature related. So if there's a new book coming out, we're not going to get into individual arcs necessarily, unless there's some sort of like major publisher-wide effects that are going to be related to said arc. We don't really get into individual arcs or individual issues. We just talk about the broader news at large. So without any further ado, let's talk about some comic books and possibly some books as well. Comic books and books. We have get some Star Wars stuff because, again, Star Wars Celebration was a thing. Star Wars stuff to talk about. We also have a new Batman Beyond book, which is super exciting if you are a Batman reader. But yeah, we've got a little bit more, so let's jump in. Starting again, we don't have any follow-ups, we don't have any trailers. I thought we did, but it's not in the notes, so it doesn't exist. But we do have some regular-ass news. So let's get into the regular-ass news for comic books and books. We have Star Wars. We're gonna start there with a couple of new things. First up, we're seeing the return of Quinlan Vos. I'm stoked! Hyperspace Stories number 9 sees the return to Quinlan Vos. He will be battling Cad Bane in this book. I have not been reading Hyperspace Stories, but at the very least I think I'm going to be doing this because Quinlan Vos is such an interesting Jedi. And we'll get to that in a second, actually. Hold on. So the other story for Star Wars is that there is a new Star Wars comic book event that has been announced by Marvel. It's called Dark Droids. There is going to be a Dark Droids book as well, coming out in August. The writer for this, oh, come on, I really like this guy. Charles Soule, there we go. Charles Soule, I really dig Charles. He was the one that started the Buffy reboot over at Boom Studios, and he did a pretty good job with that. Also worked on the Serenity book, if I'm not mistaken, though somebody correct me because I think I am. Either way, I'm a little bit of a Charles Soule fan. He's no James Tynion or anything like that, but he's pretty good. And so yeah, so he's writing the book, but it's going to span all of the current Marvel Star Wars books. So basically everything. We have the Vader book. We have I can't even think. I didn't write them in the notes because why? I take amazing notes. So, but the thing that I was going to touch on briefly just a moment ago is this is super exciting because not necessarily the droids thing, but the Quinlan Vos thing, because like this is. They have said in no uncertain terms that they test things in the comic book side of their world before they put it into the movies. So if this Quinlan Vos does well, if the Hyperspace Stories book does well, then maybe we'll see Quinlan Vos in a movie sometime soon. Maybe. I don't know, I'm not going to hold my breath, but it'd be really awesome. All right, so that's what we got there. Let's move over to Batman Beyond. We got a new Batman Beyond book. DC is launching a new Terry McGinnis book called Batman Beyond Neo-Gothic. Issue 1 launches July 25th. This is going to be the continuation of the current, obviously, the current Batman Beyond book that he got, or the most recent Batman Beyond book, I guess, because there's not a current. But it's going to be that new bat suit that he got at the end of the last arc. It's going to be a lot more with that, and so that's pretty freaking exciting. Beyond that, I didn't actually see who the main villain was going to be, so I can't necessarily elaborate there, but yeah, we'll keep tabs if it's significant. All right, and then our final piece, we're moving over back to Marvel, and we're talking about the X-Men this time. We have Iceman getting his own book. It's going to be titled Astonishing Iceman. It is going to be Bobby Drake Iceman. It's going to be written by Steve Orlando, and Vincenzo Carratu is going to be doing the art. I very much apologize that because I know I mispronounced his name. It's going to be a part of that Fall of X event that we talked about previously. So pretty stoked. It's been a while since Iceman's had his own book. I don't know how excited I am given the current state of Marvel Comics, but you know, it is what it is, and that's what we got. So let's move to the final piece, and that is suggestions for comic books and books. Suggestion this week is Superman Red Sun, one of, if not the most famous Elseworlds story in the DC canon. Yeah, Red Sun is really cool. Just a really unique twist on all of the superheroes in the DC oeuvre, if you will. Mark Millar kind of can do no wrong. Mark Millar is one of the greatest comic book authors of all time, and he's still making comics in current age stuff, just not really for DC anymore, but still a fantastic book, so absolutely go read you some Superman Red Sun this week. Once again, nerds, this is just the comic books and books section from the Week in Nerddom, which is the much longer video that gets posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy or @generallynerdy, however you gotta find it. That's the main channel. You get the entire, usually around about an hour-long video there that goes into other topics as well, TV, movies, rumors, etc., etc. Go check that out. Before we leave you, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.